the one that was in Russia? Sochi?
Yes,
Yeah.
Sochi.
Oh yeah, in Brazil they just walked away from it. It cost the country billions. They walked away from it, and just the infrastructure is just no. I don't want anything to do with it.
No, I get the corruptness behind the Olympics and everything like that. As an American, a little bit of my patriotism coming out. I love degenning, watching rowing and all the weird summer sports.
We're going to be top 3 in all the medals, so it's just like okay.
Not in all of them. No, not in all of them.
An overall medal count. The U.S. if we're top 3,
the top 3. It's in all medal.
That would make sense
because we win all the weird stuff.
Yeah. We, curling.
Yeah. All right, so
card collecting.
Let's talk about what came out this morning about an hour and a half ago with Sasha Vezenkov. Do you mind breaking this news?
Yes. Per Mihalis Stefanou.
Is that? Did you say me, as in you?
Mihalis.
Oh, that's his name.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. Mihalis Stefanou from, I believe, Eurohoops.net. And we have this site on Sacktown Sports right now by our very own Craigie Caroselli. Go check that out on sacktownsports.com. Sasha Vezenkov has informed the Sacramento Kings that he doesn't intend to return for his second year of his contract. For now, it's open whether he will continue his career in the NBA or decide to return to Europe.
Gentlemen, what are your thoughts? I have thoughts.
Who? No. I was really excited when he came over because I was like, oh, great. Like, this could be a nice surprise catalyst off the bench, a scorer, a rebounder, a guy that could help the team. And he was kind of invisible this year. And okay, if you want to go back, but I don't think that he can do much.
Besides shoot.
What's up?
Besides shoot.
No. I don't think he'd do much besides either play for the Kings or not play basketball anymore.
Well, there was another report that came out from another European outlet. I forget his name, so apologies on there, but said that he had asked for a trade or that the Kings don't have him in his plans. So there's one saying that Sasha asked for a trade and one saying the Kings don't have him in his plans. So which one is true? Either way, I think the Kings will try to use, again, 3-year, $20 million deal he signed last year. He has 2 years left in this deal at $6.6 million. They're going to probably have to trade him, use him in a trade filler. I could see it happening this year to try to acquire a player.
I immediately looked and I was trying to Google something. If we waive him, does it free up money to get Monk? That's what I was looking at. That's all I really cared about because I wasn't really thinking, oh, darn.
Unless he lets the Kings off the hook. No, just not.
Sasha soft ankles Vezenkov over here.
Hey, Steph had soft ankles early on.
He did.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely on that Steph trajectory.
Just like Buddy Hield was.
I just don't care. When a player doesn't want to be here, fine. Just go.
Jason Terry.
Just get out of here. That's fine.
Gosh,
so we got to figure out how to get this guy off the team if that's the case. His cards really never took off. He was a regular Prism card. I think he had maybe like 3 or 4 different cards. We had some people, we were putting him in the case for like $5. They sold for here or there, but he really didn't have too much of a, I can't believe that guy was a EuroLeague MVP.
Yeah.
I can understand like a Luka or even Ricky Rubio type of player, but he was so slow. He had a weird release.
It was a down year that year.
He was so prolific from 3, though, is what it was. Like every shot felt like it was going in. You watch his highlights, it felt like every shot was going in. It's different. It's a different style of play in the NBA.
Sasha will miss you.
No.
But as the meme says from Tombstone, well, bye.
Bye.
Well, I guess we won't have to worry about comping his cards.
No, we don't.
I actually just saw Sasha 1-of-1 get sold last night, and it went for a pretty low number for 1-of-1, only about $200. But even then,
probably why I wanted out.
Again, $200 for a player
who
didn't really play too much.
Yeah,
and he was a late add into products too, especially Prism.
And it doesn't say Sasha on there has his real first name, Alex.
Yeah, Alexander. So some say Alexander Vezenkov, and some say Sasha Vezenkov. Yeah. I know Select is Sasha. I believe Prism is Alexander.
Yeah, it's weird. Like,
get it right, Panini.
Joey Bell.
All right, that's the most amount of Sasha Vezenkov talk that's ever going to be done on any radio station.
Especially about cards, definitely.
Home of the Kings.
Yes. Home of the Kings here.
Yeah, so we talked about the common cards. This is a huge thing, and I think that this is a big. It's a thing where it's a learned skill how to comp a card.
Oh yeah,
and what is
we're moving topics. I like this.
I like it. Emmer, what does it mean to comp a card? Because it's not only cards. This is used in another form of business used to be in real estate.
Yep.
It's a big thing there. So kind of explain that background, what that looks like, and give a little definition. So if you're not familiar.
So comps mean comparables, and we're trying to sell like cards at the same price like cards have already sold for. There's a big difference. So as Shep talked about real estate, I've done that for over 2 decades. And the difference in comping cards and comping houses, there's similarities. There's a website, place to go, multiple listing system that says, here's a house for sale, here's what it's sold for, here's what it's pending. So we have an idea. But whether you are on the MLS or not, the recorder's office will state it's transferred. This house is transferred from Emil to Tim Shepler, and this is what the sales price was. It was on the MLS or not. The county's recorder's office shows that. So there's always a record of every single sale when it transfers property hands from one person to another. In cards, that doesn't exist. It does exist in the fact that we can go to eBay, we can look and see what something sold for. But if Emil sells a card to Pete at the card show, that's not documented. We don't know what that number is.
Yes.
There's no reference place to where we can go back and see every single sale of every single card ever. When we sell cards at the store, we don't report to the higher authority of this thing being sold for that. So if we sold for over sticker price, or we never do that, but over the typical comps, that doesn't get recorded. So it's very difficult to determine that. And here's the other thing, and this is why I wanted to talk about comps so badly, was we have people and they are like, I'm only paying this much under the comps and this is all I'm going to do. It's like, okay, I understand that. But if all we did was sell lower and 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 never even at the comparable price, every card would go down to $1, right? Like, because and that anything that happens that way is going to cause a market crash, a market correction. So when you think about comparable cards, you've got to look at a lot of things. And I really want to kind of do the educational piece today to where we talk about comping. So let's start out with where we're finding the comps to begin with. So education for those of you listening, when you come to sell us cards, whether it's at a show, at our shop, in a parking lot, wherever it is that we're meeting you, at In-N-Out Burger, I ultimately am the end all be all decider of how we buy at our shop, but I trust our team. I trust Shep. I trust Pete. Guys, go work your magic and do what you do. And they come back and they do really fair deals to both sides. And I think that any time that you sell a card to a shop or to a dealer or whoever, and you don't feel perfectly great about it, and they don't feel perfectly great about it as the person buying it,
it's a good match.
It's a good match because nobody feels like, oh yes, I got over on them. And we try to make win-win deals happen as much as possible. So Shep, let's start off with, where do we look for the comps and what systems do we use at True?
There's a couple different ways. And one of the first ways that we've that anybody can do, and we use it sometimes, is eBay sold listings. So you search the card on eBay, you can filter out the solds, you'll get an idea. The problem with that is that will also show best offers. So you'll have a card sold for $75 and they took a best offer, so it was lower than 75. It just doesn't tell you. So then if you have an eBay account where you sell online, you can get a Terapeak subscription, which will tell you what that it's a full date read report from eBay that will give you the exact price. So we've used those two. My favorite that we use is Card Ladder.
And it will, just on Terapeak, it will show you 75 OBO or best offer. They'll throw a line through it. It did sell, and then Terapeak will show you what
it
was
$55.
Yeah,
interesting. Right. I never heard Terapeak.
And then the one I love the most is we use Card Ladder now. It's a subscription base, and I think it's $120 for the year, and there's also like a monthly fee, like
15 a month.
15 a month.
It pays for itself.
Yeah, if you're doing this on a very regular basis, for sure, because you can put cards in. It pulls from, I want to say, 10 to 12 different sites. We have auction, like Golden Auction House. We have eBay. We have
PWCC,
MySlabs. There's a bunch of great sites that people sell through that pulls all the data from, so you can see, and it goes back like over 10 years. So if a card's very rare and sold 8 years ago, and there's like 3 of them ever,
I know,
you can find that sale, and it's amazing because then you can kind of get an idea. And that's one of my favorite ways. There's others. People use 130 Point. That's a pretty good free one. Again, it doesn't give you all the details that you need, but enough where if you're not in this on a daily basis where you need to pay for a subscription, those do work well enough so you can get by and not get too burned on pricing your items.
I don't know why anybody wouldn't pay $15 a month for something when you're dealing with hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in cards. Having accurate information is big. Now, with that said, the way I comp, and I can only speak the way that I comp, it's very different than most people think, because when you look at past history, you have to look at the context of this. So first of all, in Card Ladder, when you look, it'll show you, I sort by date. So you want to sort by the date of the last sale, as in as most recent as possible.
Yes.
So usually we'll look at the card, and then Card Ladder requires you to type in the thing as accurate as possible. If you spell Caitlin Clark incorrectly, it will not pull it up.
Yep.
It doesn't auto find stuff for you like
No.
eBay does with their search criteria. Like, I think you meant this, so I'm going to correct it.
Mhm.
It doesn't do that. You have to be exact, and you have to actually speak lingo. So looking for a LeBron signed card, typing in LeBron signed card is not going to work. The lingo speak is auto, AUTO,
Yes.
for autographs. So you just want to use the shortcuts of auto, because that's kind of the typical speak. So having knowledge of how to search cards is big. Here's the second part.
Mhm.
You operate, I looked at it from best offer. So any best offer or fixed sale, that takes precedence over auction for me, because that means that somebody's pressed the button and said, I'm willing to pay that price for
Right
it
now.
Yep.
right now. I'll take it.
Yep.
Auctions will often be slightly lower than that, but it does guarantee a sale for the seller, because they're going to sell it for whatever it goes for.
Mhm.
Let's just let it ride. So when it closes, it's going to close. And when you look at if you look at a sheet and you see the last 5 sales and it's best offer, auction, best offer, the best offers will often be higher than the auction price, because they had to wait to get their price versus the auction just ends on whatever day that is.
Yeah.
The other thing about auctions too that come into play is that I don't know when it ended. I mean, I can look and do the research, but if I'm quick comping and I've got to do 15 cards in the next 10 minutes in order for me to make a purchase,
Yeah.
I'm going to look at the final sales price, but I don't know if the seller did it to where they close the transaction. The auction ends on Tuesday at 2:00 in the morning. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been an effect to it. Maybe the photos were terrible. There's a lot of factors that come into play.
Misspelling in the listing, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
My question is the biggest thing is hey, I have this Frank Thomas rookie card and it's listed on eBay for $12,000. I have 10 of them. Give me $120,000, Emran.
So many people ask for.
That math was not right.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. It's
You
okay.
have 10 of them at 115,000, was it?
Yes, that's what.
Well, he was asking for a
Yes.
discount, because it would have been $150,000.
Just doing it in my head. I was.
Shep is not the accounting
Listen.
department.
No, I'm
at
not.
True Sports
I would hope
Cards.
he's not.
Yeah.
I went to public school along with Emran.
I did in public school too.
Yeah, I went to Chico State, so maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, the brain cell.
ASU baby.
So
Not any better. So
Not any better.
we got some geniuses over here.
Sorry.
Can we
Sorry.
edit this out?
Sorry.
All right.
Please
So,
trust us. We are
UC Davis
smart when
back
it comes
here.
to cards.
you're UC Davis?
UC Davis.
See, that's why. That's
I'll
why
keep
the
you in
show's
check.
successful. We got a smart guy back there. Why isn't he out here?
We're looking for a new accounting department. Shep, $5. What do we need $4 for? Shep.
So yeah,
Oh,
so the
anybody
my
can
Frank
ask for anything.
Thomas's, I have 10 of them. They're listed at $12,000 on eBay, and I want to sell you 10 of them. So let's do it.
So Peg Junk in the YouTube chat said that they'll be joining Card Ladder soon. Smart move.
Yeah.
Well worth the $15. Now, here's the other thing that I would tell you.
Ooh.
You could ask for anything. I also cross-reference. So when it happened yesterday, a guy came in and he wanted to sell a Joe Burrow silver concourse rookie card out of Select. It was PSA 10.
Ooh.
Comp goes for 130.
Okay.
Those were closed sales. One most recently about 3 weeks ago. Now, would I have paid a percentage on that 130? Yes, but Emran and the rest of the True Sports team were a 2.0 version of a card shop. So what I did was I went to eBay first and I went, let me go look on eBay real quick to see if there's any actives. And there was one for $115 OBO or best offer.
Oh.
So why would I create the comp at $130
Mm-hmm.
when I could press this button right here and buy a card for $15 less than the last comp sold? Somebody listed it cheaper,
Or even less than that because
Is
they're
it
taking
OBO?
offers. Hey, I'll offer $100.
or even I think minimally you could take 5% off if
Yeah.
somebody's OBOing.
Yeah.
and just say, yeah, you would say that the comp would be like 107.
Well, like you talked about, having fair value for both sides. Taking a little bit off on here, and they still feel pretty good about the deal because they still got about their number.
Yeah, well, the other one closed at that all right, I'll tell you what, I'll buy it from you, but I'm going to press this button, and now the comp is 115, and I'm going to take a percentage of that.
Now I'm gonna
Like,
have two.
right, I'll have
Yeah.
two, and I'll have the lower comp. Like I could make you lose. If we're going to play the comp game, I'll just press this button, and I just reduce your value by $15.
I had to play that recently too.
So I what I'm getting at is that it's not just what it closed for, but what can I acquire this card for at this very second right now? And if eBay has something active that's less than the comp, you got to take that into consideration
Correct.
too.
Yeah.
And I don't think people look at it that way.
Well, and then too, I don't think people do a lot of research because my favorite thing is when say you're going to buy a card and someone has an auction going and say it's a Wemby card and there's 2 days left and the bids are at 170, but somebody has a buy it now for 185. And no one's over there buying it, or even best, when an auction exceeds a buy it now price, and no one's going to the card to buy it now. It's the exact same card,
Yeah.
It's just funny to me. So what happens when you can't find an exact Joe Burrow for Joe Burrow comp? So like you looked up, and there were sales for Joe Burrow cards of that silver select, and you could see them. But say it's a Joe Burrow out of 3.
I have a perfect example.
Okay.
Yesterday we bought a Anderson Silva autographed card. It was a Topps Finest red refractor number to 5. It was number 1 of 5. Anderson Silva,
And a UFC fighter, right?
UFC
so
fighter.
The Spider, one of the greats right there.
UFC not as prevalent in collecting because they only have a handful of releases, so less products.
More
to be
volatile.
able
but
to
you're
comp.
asking me about comping. So
Correct. No, I'm just saying. I'm just giving some background because there's not as many cards out there to compare it to because there's just not as much product.
So there's 5 in the world of this particular
Mhm.
card. The likelihood of it selling and on eBay, very rare. You give the example of 3 Joe Burrow. We have 1 of 1s. How do you do this? So what I did was I looked in the same set and I said, limit were out there. And an Izzy Adesanya sold for $200. And that one sold in the last month.
Okay.
So what I did was I go, Anderson right now, forget in ring performance. Let's just talk about collectability. Anderson's going to be lower than Izzy.
Mhm.
Izzy's at 200. I looked again. There's a Conor McGregor that sold for 225. So I got Conor at the peak of the sport. I've got Izzy right below that. And I'd probably say Anderson's below that. So I told the guy, I believe the value is about 150 to 160. And the guy was like, that seems fair to me. So when you don't have comparables, what you do is you try to find other parallels of that particular card
Yes.
with a different player in the same year, and then gauge the collectability from that player up or down from the one that you do have the documentation of. Do you have any examples?
I have an example.
Yeah, go for it.
So my Alex Pereira, the big one that I pulled a long time ago, graded myself PSA 10. It's Alex Pereira rookie gold auto at 10 to 10 bookend. I wasn't sure how to comp it. It's a 1 of 1 basically because there's no other of that parallel at the Gem Mint 10 status. So I have the only one in the world. So I go, where do I price this at? Well, I was talking with Packhound Sacktown Terry. I was talking with Terry, and he has the ComSot parallel of that same exact card, and he had it at a certain number. And so I said, okay, because you have it at this number, ComSot's a little bit more collectible, but also my Pereira is a rookie card, so you have to factor that. That's how you can gauge off of that, because sometimes when you're dealing in a stratosphere of cards that are higher than the Joe Burrow that we were just talking about 130, you're dealing with cards in the thousands. You got to find that small comparison, that small parallel to at least figure out where is the correct place to value that card.
And there's another scenario that we just recently had with Clearly Don Russ. It was 2023 Clearly Don Russ. We ended up with the CJ Stroud rated rookie hollow on the Clearly. Now, this is non-numbered, but it's a super, super short print. And I didn't know what to put it at, right? So what we did was I looked and saw, because there was no closed sales.
The product just
came out. But you look to see, can I find this thing anywhere for sale? So I looked on eBay, I looked on My Slabs, I looked on everywhere, and I only saw one out there besides the one that we had in our hands. And the guy had it listed for 1,500 OBO. Okay. So I looked and I went to other players to see what their OBO or listings were. I think they had a Hendon Hooker out there, and Hendon Hooker was, I think, out there for $150. We're talking about the backup quarterback that's never going to play because Jared Goff just signed an extension.
Got the bag.
That guy's if that guy's at 150, what's CJ Stroud? 10x?
Yeah, at least.
8x. So that's kind of where we kind of settled, and we ended up selling the card for $1,000, even though we don't really know because we don't have comps. Now that can absolutely kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Like recently, I got absolutely crushed on a deal because I bought a lot of Obsidian football singles before there was comps available to them. And that's the danger of buying cards that don't have any comps, because ultimately you have to justify to the end customer what a card's worth, and you have to show the long division of how you got there. And if you can't explain it, then you're not going to get that price.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of work to do when it comes to cards that don't have comps. Although one thing that you haven't talked about, Shep, and maybe you can put some insight into it, one-of-ones. How is it that you handle one-of-ones when you're evaluating for the shop?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is trying to find in that product if that player has a similar one-of-one, because that can happen. Again, it's then, okay, they don't. So let's find a player that's at the same position, say NFL, and it's a quarterback. Say it's Joe Burrow. Okay, like what does Justin Herbert one-of-one? Did that sell? Did the Josh Allen sell? What did Mahomes do? Because if the Mahomes sold, then we can do a percentage off of that price for a Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
So you just kind of go through, or if it's a fourth-year Burrow versus a third-year Burrow one-of-one, the prices should be very similar, and you could use those comps. It's also too, how fast, a lot of times too, when we're looking at cards and how we evaluate a one-on-one is how fast do we think we could actually turn and sell this card. So that also can affect too what we might pay for a card that's harder to comp. We might pay a little bit more than maybe we think we should, or what we've seen a very. And if you don't have, like, say you have a Joe Burrow and then you have a Tyrod Taylor, and those are the only two, right? And you're trying to buy the Burrow, and the only comp that you can find is a Tyrod Taylor. It's figuring out that math, and maybe you're going to pay up on that Burrow because you know that could sell faster, or you have a customer in mind for that. It's one of those things. And also, you know what I do a lot? Hey guys, I crowdsource, and I'll ask other people that I work with that I trust, and I'll say, hey guys, this is what it is. What do you think? Because then you get a couple of people brain on it, and they might come from a different angle. Emma will say, hey, have you thought about doing this? Did that card sell on a weird Tuesday night? Or was it during 2020 when everybody was buying cards at a crazy price? Did it do this? Or Pete, oh, hey, I know that Bob Smith loves that guy. And, it's
so interesting though, because when Pete will unearth something that I didn't even find.
Yeah.
Or here's another really good example. BGS Beckett graded stuff. So I would find a BGS 8.5. And so I'm searching the criteria. I look at BGS 8.5. Now I'm smart. I know I'll look at 9, I'll look at 8, but people will be like, dude, I found a 9.5, a BGS 9.5 of the same card, and it's lower than the 8.5's comp. It's available right now, or I found it. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. I'm so glad that I had reached out to my trusted team members to make sure that we all cross-reference our work to make sure of it. And when we tell the customer that's trying to sell us something, it's disappointing. They feel like, oh man, but we're an X-ray. Our job is to be an X-ray. We're the doctor telling you what the X-ray says. Yeah. We're not the one breaking the leg.
Yeah.
We're the one telling you the leg's broken.
We're the one delivering the news. And this happened the other day. This guy came in to grade cards, and we were going through and pricing them out. And I broke his heart a little bit because he thought he had gold mine and didn't. But it's the reality of the situation and where it is. But, I always think that when you're dealing with higher end cards, especially like one-on-ones, that having an extra set of eyes or another brain on it at least is just helpful, and
having the knowledge of what you're grading or what are you getting, what are you selling. A guy came in, he got a printing plate 1-of-1 graded. It was the cyan colored one. For those of you who don't know what printing plates are, there's 4 printing plates made for every single card in order to create the cards. So there's cyan, magenta, black, and yellow. So those are the 4 printing plates. So there's 4 1-of-1s for every card. And so the guy gets it graded, and it comes back like a 5, and he's pissed off, like mad at me. And I was like, what are you mad about? And he goes, well, you should have got a higher grade. I go, brother, this thing makes cards.
Yeah,
it's literally in a machine that stamps cards with a metal printing plate. What did you think it was going to get graded? And he's like, oh, I never really thought about it that way. Yeah. Let me quote the great philosopher, Socrates. A day. Okay. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know why this card got an 8. well, see that big old line in the middle?
You see those dimples on the card?
Yeah, that's kind of. Oh, I didn't even look at them. Okay, well, what more can we do for you?
Yeah.
So it's all about understanding the actual cards itself, understanding its rarity. There's a new subset. I think it's out of Obsidian. It's called Tiger Eyes. I didn't even know anything about it.
It's out of Origins
Origins, Tiger Eyes.
and Snake Eyes. Yeah.
No, it was literally tigers.
No, there's tigers and snakes. I think is what. Yeah, there's two.
We're getting weird.
Oh
now.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Because there's
Yeah.
a choice box again.
Yeah,
I'm in the weeds.
And yeah, I was good. And cow butt, and there's another one, elephant skin.
Zebra
Yeah.
booty. Oh,
Yeah. So all of these different parallels, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. And Pete goes, "Oh no, that's a super short print." I go, "What?" I thought it was a $5 card of Julio. No, who was it? It was a football player, Bryce Young or something. And then I go, "What is this? Like $5 card?" I look, it's like $130, non-numbered,
Yeah.
Yeah.
super short
Case
print.
hit.
It's like, dude, this is out of control.
There's too many case hits.
well, yeah, you got to give the people something to chase.
What does super short print really mean?
When you see so many of, I'll tell you, the kabooms out of basketball right now, they are super short print. I see very rare. Are not only they're short print, but they're all defective.
It's pretty hard to find a really good centered one. I'll say that.
So I had a customer yesterday bring up, we have a Justin Jefferson Kaboom in the shop. It's a great looking card.
Horizontal.
Horizontal.
Right? Yeah.
Ooh.
Everybody loves the Kaboom. If you're not familiar, it's a very chromy, shiny card with the big Batman from 1966 Batman, when they would do the pow and kabooey. It's that same artwork that says Kaboom on the back and a silhouette, like the picture of just the player himself laid over it. It's really cool. This customer said, "Hey, I've never seen a Kaboom graded higher than an 8." And I started to think about it.
Not true.
I know it's not true because
Yeah.
we've had one before.
We had the green
101 Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, 101
That
Aaron
was
Rodgers.
special.
PSA 10.
That was
But think
special.
about it. It's a thicker card, right? It's handled differently when it's packed out because they're case hits. They're inserting them strategically. That could be the case for majority of them because of the way they're handled. But I want to get back, and I don't know if you guys talked about this when I've not been here because I know you have talked about grading. But when people say like, "Hey, I just pulled this from a pack. How did it get a 6? This is ridiculous. This is my 1985 Topps Kirby Puckett. I just pulled from a pack. I sent it off that next day, got it graded, came back a 5. Why?" And it's like, well, the way it's cut, well, why would they cut that so poorly? Why would they let us down like that? I said, they don't care.
They don't care.
They didn't care in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. They don't care today. It's a machine doing it, and it's by chance.
Literally yesterday, I pulled a Steph Curry Select Certified Red Flash out of a Select Blaster 4 out of 99.
Tough pull,
No,
especially at a retail.
at a retail. Select's
Yes.
been really good blaster wise this year.
For
Honestly.
you especially.
Yeah, I've had a great time. Point being, though, look at the card. I'm looking at it in another glance. Big ass print line right in the middle, and I go, "What the heck, man? What the heck? Like, and you can't do better here? Come on now."
And it's just the luck of the draw. And I told a customer that the other day. I said, "Listen, that's why a 10 of that Kirby puck, I'm just using an example, is so valuable because there are not many that survived or that were even created to be able to be a 10. Not every card is created to be perfect. So I want to help people understand that point because I feel terrible sometimes when Emma and I always refer ourselves as the Grim Reaper because when people bring in the big totes from Costco, the black ones with the yellow tops we love so much,
yes,
which are very hard to find, let me tell you.
Maybe at the new Costco.
They bring them in and the guys call us over because it's all the stuff Emma and I can identify. You could lift a 5,000 count box off and I can tell you if the cards are from the 80s and 90s, Emma and I can identify them without even looking.
Just from the tops of the
Just
color.
from the tops of the cards. Well, you can pull up and go, that's 89 tops, that's 91 Fleer, so on and so forth. But we have to tell everybody, like, yeah, these were mass produced. They made them all year long. I have a speech down. They made them for 12 to 13 months. They printed them on demand to the customer satisfaction, and then they printed some more.
You are much more nice about it than I am.
They just made a ton of them.
Your cards suck. That's my script. And then they go, well, what do I do
Because
with
I'll
them?
say that, and then Emery goes, you can't say that to customers.
You
Don't-
and Pete.
I can say, yeah.
You can say it.
You
can't
and
say it,
Pete,
Jeff. I
man,
can say it.
it's funny as heck,
Well,
man.
Pete, I gotta kind of slap the hand, like, bro. I'd like to come back to
Your
this.
cards.
I'd like to come back to this card show.
Yeah.
Like Pete, when we were in Houston, How much you want for that card? Oh,
Yeah.
you're crazy.
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot. I was
You're
like,
an idiot.
Pete, I'd like to come back. Can you not do that? Okay, sorry.
Or just take our shirt off, put somebody else's shirt on, and go around and say that stuff. We're the
Read the
competitors.
shirt. We think your cards
Yeah.
are terrible. Read the
You
shirt.
see this shirt?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is
Oh
totally.
my gosh.
Okay, so we've got, speaking of cards that have some value, we have a new release coming out. We're coming up to
dude,
the
my favorite.
yes,
My
Shep.
favorite.
Shep is a baseball nerd
Yes.
in all formats, both in collecting, knowing, knowledge,
Yeah.
life, everything. And we have a new product coming out next week, next Wednesday. It's going to be 20 tops Series 2
That's-
2024 baseball, both in hobby and jumbo. We even got the megas. I
Yep.
got all of them coming.
They're actually monsters.
monsters. Yeah, they're not calling them megas.
Monsters.
So,
Yeah.
so I believe that we should be receiving them maybe Monday or Tuesday for a Wednesday release. Shep, I've got the up and running right now on my screen. It looks like they're going to be about $90 to $95 a box for the hobby.
That's
Mhm.
good.
We've got them right around $195 for the jumbo.
Yes.
So Series 2 hobby box includes one autograph or relic. I really wish Topps would change it to one autograph.
Give us, come on,
No
fanatics.
relics.
Yeah, just-
No relics.
so that hobby box is 20 packs per box, 12 cards per pack. You're getting 240 cards a box. One of them auto, one of them relic. And then if you're buying a sealed box and you open it, you're going to get that silver pack on the top. When it comes to the jumbo,
Mhm.
jumbo is going to be right around $200.
Yes.
Maybe a little bit below that. Let me tell you what's in that one.
I have the configuration if you'd like
Go
it.
for it.
Yeah, it is going to be 10 packs delivering 3 hits, including at least 1 autograph card. So it's saying
Minimum one auto.
minimum 1 auto.
Cool. When it comes to you, could be
0.
0 and then 2 in the second box.
Yeah, who knows?
Wow. There's some good rookies in here.
And who are we looking for in there, Chef?
We got Mason Wynn of the Cardinals.
How do you spell win?
W-Y.
And then okay, got it.
It's
I
like
thought-
Gwyn without the G.
Right.
We also have Jordan Lawler from the Diamondbacks is in here. We have Shota from the Cubs, the pitcher who's been having a phenomenal season. Let's see, Kirsten Earstead from the Orioles. Pete Crow Armstrong's rookie card in there. If you're not familiar, his mom, if you ever saw the movie Little Big League, there is a movie where a 12-year-old kid manages the Cubs. His mom in that movie is actually Pete Crow Armstrong's real mom,
What?
which is neat.
For those of you that have ever watched the
Factoids.
show Cheers,
Yes.
Shep is Cliff Clavin
Cliff
with a little known fact.
Yes.
Little known fact.
Jordan Adams is also a rookie this year in here. Wade Meckler, the great Giants pitcher, he's in there. And some guy named Shohei as a Dodger.
Hey,
will be-
he
will be in
sounds
here.
he sounds familiar.
Yes. So first Dodger Shohei cards pack pull will be available, and this is the one product I love every year to open because it's the tops we're all used to that we all grew up on, we all enjoyed, and I always open a handful of boxes and relive that childhood to do so. Again, it's never one of those products that's going to make you rich.
No.
It's also not one of those products that's never really going to bankrupt you unless you just overspend. You get what you get. You're getting some base cards. You're getting to learn the players. You're getting some rookie cards. You might get an autograph. You're going to get some cool inserts. It's a fun rip. It's a good way to learn the sport, who's out there, who's on what team. And this Series 2 will have the guys that maybe got traded or signed in the offseason in enough time. And then we'll also have update later this year with all the trades. But Series 2 doesn't get better.
I'm in one of those moods. I want to give something
Uh-oh.
away.
What?
I'm in one of those moods.
Oh,
So we have the boxes available Wednesday the 12th, which is
A couple days
next
away.
Wednesday.
just a couple days away. If you buy a box, whether it's jumbo or hobby, and you open in store, we will grade with SGC one of your cards absolutely free.
What?
Yeah, True
What?
Sports Cards will do that. We'll do that.
Wow.
So we'll send it to SGC on your behalf. Just go ahead and open the box in house. We love seeing cards being pulled. So if you could do us a favor, come by the shop starting Wednesday. I'll put that in action for a full week.
Okay.
So we'll go Wednesday to Wednesday. If
Nice.
you buy a box from us, hobby or jumbo of the 2024 Topps Series 2 baseball, we will grade one of the cards out of your box for free. Your choice. Doesn't matter who.
And SGC turn time is
Supposedly back to
2
10
weeks.
days.
Yeah, two real weeks, 10 business days. But you could be the first to the market with these rookie cards. Also, real quick, Lawrence Butler of the Oakland A's has a rookie.
It's also a good.
Kyle
one.
Harrison and
Playing well.
Jung Hoo Lee.
all
the-
the
Hey, he's pretty
all as a
good.
rookie card as well. So that's going to be one of his first Giants rookie cards available. So it's great. There's a lot of local product.
One
on there.
last product I want to talk
Yeah.
about before we go off the air. I'm a massive fan of this stuff. I saw it open yesterday. We have it on the shelf. 2024 Topps UFC Midnight Hobby Boxes. Now, I'm a big UFC guy. So is Emil. Shep's starting to learn his
Yes,
UFC.
sir.
In this box, you're getting a total of 7 cards in the box.
Mm-hmm.
It comes with 3 autographs, the chrome autographs.
Yes.
So in almost all cases, I believe that the majority of them are going to be on card. 3 parallels are insert in 1 base. $299 on our shelf is what we have it for.
Mhm.
I love this product. It looks so good. I think that Topps quality, Fanatics quality, their quality control, they've been really on top of it. I think that stuff like this will grade really well.
I hope so.
By
I've
the
had to
way,
keep Emron away from it, by the way.
yeah,
Yeah.
I almost opened this stuff, but I don't open boxes. I've stated that many a times. I might open 1 box a quarter.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, I'll
And yet
just
you get, and yet you hit big.
yeah. I don't shake the boxes or anything like that, but like
I've seen him get no.
oh, I've gotten crushed before. I've been
Oh,
there was one day that I was opening Recon basketball.
It kept getting worse.
It got worse. I think one of the autos was Tino Mobley, and I was like, okay. And then the next one was like Norman Powell. It just got worse and worse. By the way, yesterday, Drive Guys, we opened a box of Obsidian, 2 autos, Noah Clowney and Norman Powell.
Nice.
wow.
Well, don't forget PSA DNA drop-offs from now until June 25th at the Rockland location, 6661 Stanford Ranch.
What's the phone number for that place?
916-259-1993.
You got it right.
The True Sports Card Show with Emil, Emron, and me, Big Shep. I appreciate y'all.
Don't forget Nate behind the window. Thank
Yes,
you very
Nate,
much.
Nate.
leading us, the smart
Nate's the
guy
man.
from UC Davis.
Hey, we'll see you next week. And don't forget to see us at the San Francisco Card Show today and tomorrow. We'll be there
Come
buying
on
your
the show.
cards. We'll see you soon.
Bye.